All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back live once again. I apologize for the technical difficulties here on the Niner Sickness podcast. It happens when you deal with electronics. Let me tell you, the electronics are the most beautiful thing when they are working. They can be as friendly as possible. When one little thing goes wrong, all hell breaks loose. But hopefully, we have taken care of the issue, making sure everybody starts popping in real quick. People start trickling back in. Uh, so, all right, here they come. Go ahead, Gina, if you don't mind, and being a model for this, and speak with your voice to see if the echo is gone.
Yes, testing.
One, two.
Gina repping a bay.
There you go. Is the echo still there, ladies and gentlemen, or is the echo gone?
Hey guys, welcome back in. Can you hear an echo?
Let's see here. Anyone, is the echo gone on Gina? Is she back?
Do you hear an echo? Hopefully not.
No, I don't think they're gonna. I think the problem got resolved, but
Oh, good.
nope. Still got an echo.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
Gina. But Javier says no, and still there. Interesting.
Hmm.
Let me see something real quick. That's on. So, oh, you know what? Let me see something real quick. Nope, it should be gone. All right, we'll give it another shot. Hopefully,
Yeah.
if it is, then it probably is your headset. But you use it before in other shows, and you don't have an issue with it, right?
Oh, I use it all the time.
Yeah, that's weird. And now you do sound different from the first show to me. Well, if it gets to the point where it's really hard to understand her, please let us know in the comments. I'll be very cute on the comments, but I want to make sure we proceed. Maybe her mic setting is echo or too loud, or it could just be getting mic feedback. That's interesting.
Well, there's I think when I click on setting, different settings for my mic. There's default headset microphone, communications headset microphone. You know what I'm saying? Like there's different ones. So I could click on a different one. Just
Let's see here. Maybe it goes away now. Let me try something here on my side.
okay.
Let's see if it works now. And to just to
Mhm.
I can understand. I do have a new mixer that I got
Okay.
yesterday compared to my old one, so that could be it too. Me still trying to figure out the mixer. I'm pretty good
Yeah.
at figuring these things out. So I made an adjustment on my side. Let me know if it's working now. So if you can say something for about a minute,
Okay.
Gina, I would appreciate it.
I hear a little bit of an echo on my end, but I think oh no, wait. It just went away.
Did it?
Yeah, on my end.
Okay.
Yeah. So hopefully people can hear me and without an echo.
Yeah, that makes two of us. Did the echo go away? If you guys can keep me posted. What's up, David McNiner? Welcome. We got 49ers fan 26th in the house.
I'm going to put my mic a little bit further away from my
Ways
face.
to get rid of this ugly echo.
I'm very much looking forward to the Niners versus Seahawks game. I don't think it's going to be one of those demolishing ones, but I'd like to say we're going to win by. I don't like to do scores. I like to do win by like two touchdowns.
2 touchdowns?
Yeah, either 10 to 14. maybe like a score and a field goal or 2 touchdowns, something like that.
Okay, let's see here. I apologize. This whole echo thing has thrown me off for a loop. Mac Joe, Laura, welcome into the house. Welcome, welcome. I'm trying to push every button that I possibly can think of on my side. Hopefully the echo goes away. Let her talk. It's all good. It can be understood. They're saying it's better. So if you want to say something a little bit
Okay.
more.
All right, cool. Yeah, I pushed this back a little bit, so maybe that'll work better.
All right, let me know. She moved it back a little bit. Let me know if it's better on your side. If you guys can hear without an echo. Echo
Yep.
is gone, according to Javier. Okay, perfect.
Okay, good.
I can work with that. Definitely. Definitely
Yeah,
work with that.
awesome.
All right, so we definitely can do that. Okay, perfect. All right. So
Yay, back in business.
back in business. Sorry for the technical all fixed, they say. Sorry for the
Yay.
technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen. All right, so um they probably heard you earlier with an echo. So if you don't mind, real quick, just letting everybody know how you became a Niner fan again, real quick in a nutshell,
Yeah.
just so they can get because apparently the echo was on there earlier, so it's gone now, so they can get a better understanding of who and how long you've been a Niner fan.
Yeah, so long story short,
Yeah,
um I had been introduced to the Niners by my parents who were at the catch. So I'm 48 years old, and so I guess you could say I lived through the catch. I actually watched it on TV at my parents' friend's house, their bowling friends. And yes, I remember it because I remember watching it with my brother. And my parents just always talk about the emotions they have. But my dad, rest in peace, Dad. He always said that it was his biggest, like, sports event ever in his life. And I didn't mention this before, but 95.7 The Game, he was a avid listener of it. They actually, I had them talk about. Mention him and they said, oh, Art, we, thank you for being an avid listener, even this is when he passed. And they mentioned about how he was at the catch. So that was just one of his favorite moments in his sports, sort of life. But yeah, witnessed all 5 Super Bowls, and I know you are around my age too, and you know how significant that was for us. So hopefully the young fans can see, a Super Bowl in their lifetime. It's been far too long.
yeah, yeah. I completely agree with you on that. It's been too long for us. I mean, I'm hungry for another Super Bowl win. We got in 2 appearances since then in 2012, and then with the Harbaugh administration,
Mhm.
and then we got one with Kyle Shanahan in 2019. But 2022 looks like it's starting to be a little bit of a different feel from the 2019 season. We were 13-3, 17-week
Yeah.
season that particular year. Um, we were first, the number one seed. We had to buy. We hosted Minnesota in the division round. We hosted Green Bay Packers in the NFC Championship, won both of those, and made our way to Miami for the Super Bowl. Came very close on beating the Chiefs. I mean, we were beating them for 3 quarters convincingly. And then we fell apart pretty much in
Yep.
the fourth quarter.
Yep.
After 7 minutes, into the fourth quarter, we decided, you know what? Let's be generous and let's give this Super Bowl to Patrick Mahomes, because when you got Patrick Mahomes on the other side, you can't make mental mistakes as the defense did, giving up that huge play to Tyreek
Right.
Hill from
Right.
Mahomes, and then Garoppolo missing. Emmanuel Sanders on that potential winning touchdown. So many things went bad, and it went bad pretty quick. So
Mhm.
2019's defense, Gina, compared to the 2022 defense, what is it? Are they similar to you? Is this defense better? Was the 19 defense better? Which defense do you think is better, in your opinion?
Oh, off top, this season's defense. You've got Nick Bosa, and just real quick, hi to No Border Sports. Um, yeah, the way Nick Bosa dominated, I mean, he's has to be a lock for Defensive Player of the Year. And I even said, hot take, um, just MVP, but he won't get it because it always goes to a quarterback. But the way he went after, sort of chasing Alden Smith's, um, sack record, franchise, for 49ers, you know, franchise player, like, I mean, 19 and a half sacks Alden Smith had, and then Bosa's 18 and a half sacks. I mean, that's just amazing. So, but you put all like our front four, and then you put together like all of the players like that we have, that even just the ones that went down, like Verrett, we lost E-Man. I mean, the guys that have stepped up in their places, my God, what we have accomplished. Every team in the NFL is scared of our defense. So, like I was saying before, with the echoes, like, if we don't win this with the defense that we have right now, it's just the season will be a complete waste. Um, so off top, this defense this season is way better than, I'm going to say, 2012 defense and 2019.
Yeah, I agree. A lot of people miss DeForest Buckner. Rightfully so. A lot of people wish he would have stayed. Me being one of them, but I'm a big fan and always been a big fan of Eric Armstead. I love what Eric Armstead does. I believe he's an unsung hero, a guy that can play on the outside, can play on the inside, a player that demands two players against him. The way he attacks the middle, the way he opens up those holes are just amazing. The power that he brings to this defense. And um, we might have had DeForest Buckner. Javon Kinlaw hasn't really planned out the way we would hope due to
Yeah.
injuries from this year compared to 1920, but 2019, excuse me. But the secondary, I believe, has gotten better with Hufanga,
Mhm.
with Gibson playing. I mean, we
Mhm.
signed this guy off the streets. Everybody thought, including us, at least myself, he was washed up in Gibson. This guy just drank from the fountain of youth and has been playing really good football under
Yeah.
D'Amico Ryans. And
Yes.
arguably, we have Shavarius Ward, who we brought in free agent. And unfortunately, Emmanuel Mosley got hurt. Jason Verrett never got a chance to do anything this year. And Lenore has kind of been thrown into the wolves, but it kind of been handling his own. But you can't take away from this trio of linebackers that we have, Gina.
Oof, I know.
I mean, these linebackers and Fred Warner,
Mhm.
Drake Greenlaw, and
Mhm.
Aziz are
You're
amazing.
right.
And then that front seven, led by 1.5 sacks away from getting and tying Alden Smith,
Mhm.
19 and a half sack, or beating him, excuse me,
Right.
because he's a sack away. He fell one sack short, but he's arguably, in my opinion, going to be the defensive player of the year, hands
Mhm.
down. I
Right.
can't see Persons beating him or Parkins, whatever his name is,
No way.
and the
He didn't
Cowboys
even
beating
make
him.
all pro, right?
Yeah, I don't think he did.
No.
So, um, but you know how the media is with the Cowboys, always representing the Cowboys, thinking they're America's team. They're not.
Right.
Francisco Lopez, welcome to the show.
Hey,
G9 George,
Francisco.
Garage. I always say George. Garage. Welcome. Sean. So this defense, what it's been doing, this year is incredible. I don't know if you were aware of this, Gina. You probably are. Just in case you're not, I'm going to mention it for the viewers that the Niners opponents are 15-0 after playing the Niners
Yep.
defense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'd never heard of that before. Whether we win or lose, that team loses the
Uh-huh.
game after playing us. Is that how powerful this defense is that they just can't regroup the next week over? I
Yeah.
mean, 15-0. It's unheard of. And the only reason
Right.
why the Chiefs didn't lose is because they went into a bye.
Right. That's a crazy fucking stat. I don't know if I could swear here, but it's a crazy stat.
It's
Like
all right. I'm prepared.
what what they've done. That's why I'm saying it. There's such a more dominating defense than the 2012, which I know that they've had some, it's like Patrick Willis, Navarro Bowman. I mean, you can't take anything away from those guys. And I would never want to, but the guys that we have right now are certainly making a case for future Hall of Fame residency, if you will, because Fred Warner, now he's a two-time All-Pro, Pro Bowl, and Nick Bosa, obviously. We've got some guys now that are making cases for Hall of Fame. So what, yeah, Cowboy. I mean,
0-15, you're correct, Cowboy. Thank you.
right. It's like, yeah, yeah. Yay, Christian. It's just so you just cannot take this season and throw it away. We have to win the Super Bowl. Yes, I'm saying that. I don't care what anyone says. Like, it's not, oh, like if we don't win, no, we have to win. I'm saying that for me.
Exactly. Yeah, Francisco. I just said 15-0. It's 0-15 against this defense for sure.
I knew what you meant.
Yeah. I caught it after I said it. I'm like, oops, yeah, I said it backwards. Victor, what's up? Welcome to the show. For those that just came in late, we had a little technical difficulties. My fault on my side, not on my guest, Gina. I got it corrected, and now we're good. And I appreciate those that stuck around with us here tonight. This defense, and we haven't even got into the offense. We're going to get into that, Gina. How amazing this defense is. We haven't even touched on special teams, and special teams have been way better than last year with Ray making some returns. Burks, being a good gunner on special teams, and this offense with the addition of Christian McCaffrey, CMC, which we will talk in a minute. But this defense, historically, can go down as one of the best defenses ever to grace the hands of the San Francisco 49ers, particularly if we win the Super Bowl this year. And we're doing it with a third string quarterback, Mr. Irrelevant, the last pick of the 7th round, and Kyle Shanahan, now on his third quarterback, has won 13 games, 10 in a row. I want to ask you, Gina, do you think he is worthy of a head coach of the year based on being on his third quarterback and winning 13 games?
I mean, absolutely a contender for coach of the year. And then you think about the other coaches that he's that are candidates for that, which I give props to. You think of Eagles coach Nick Sirianni, Doug Peterson, Brian Dable. They're all obviously candidates for a reason. And y- I don't mean to be a homer, but and Kyle may not win. And I guess I'm going to have to be okay with that. But the guy is on his third string quarterback, and the last pick of the draft who no one, literally not one person in the league, you cannot tell me that one person thought that Brock Purdy was going to be QB1 and win all those games, what, 6, and be undefeated. So yeah, and take us to wild card weekend. So um, Kyle definitely deserves to be, considered for coach of the year. Absolutely. So I think that if he doesn't at least get some votes for it, people are high.
Yeah, I agree. What he's done, and you brought up some great candidates as well. I don't want to take nothing away from the Eagles, from the Giants, and from the Jaguars for accomplishing what they have accomplished this year
Yeah.
as well. So, at the very least, Kyle Shanahan is in the mix with great company for this year to get that. Now, moving on from him a bit, Brock Purdy. Again, Mr. Irrelevant. Played 6 games, has started 5, won all 5 games, won all 6 games in total. My question to you, do you think, is that enough to edge him the rookie of the year candidate? Or do you think maybe because of the not so many games in this season that he may not win that, may lose that to Kenneth Walker, the running back from Seattle, or Wilson, the receiver from the New York Jets?
It's interesting because Kenneth Walker, he's the leader for, rushing yards, 1,050, I believe. And so impressive, and that's also why, besides Geno Smith, they're in the playoffs. And with the exception of the Lions, with that. But Brock has, again, I mean, done something that hasn't been done since what, like Ben Roethlisberger, I believe.
Yep.
So, that's and he's a Hall of Famer. We don't know what Brock is going to do because this is just happening. We haven't seen anything this good since, and I'm thinking in terms of 49ers franchise. And I hate to say stuff like this, but we haven't had good feelings since Joe and Steve. I'm not trying to compare it in those ways. Like I'm not trying to do that. But we get those, we don't get those heart attack feelings like we did with Jimmy. When Jimmy would step out onto offense, we'd sit there and go like, is it gonna be an INT?
Yep.
Yes, exactly. The nail biting.
Yep.
Like I don't get those feelings with Brock, and I've heard this from a lot of people, and we've read it on Twitter. Like we feel like more like at ease with Brock, and so we want to see those good things that we used to feel with Steve and Joe, and you and I go all back to those days. We've seen it personally.
100% correct, Gina. Um, this kid Purdy, man, what he brings to the quarterback position is a kid that is very poised, a kid that is not allow the game to be too big, very decisive of where he wants to go with the ball, knows how to make his reads and read them pretty quickly. Doesn't get happy feet, allows the play to develop and anticipates a lot of his throws because he does lack the strength of arm and can't get the ball and zip it there like a Josh Allen can. He needs to anticipate that the receiver is going to be where he needs to be, because what I see on the all 22s, right before George Kittle or Brandon Ayuk or whatever receiver it is make their break, the ball's already in the air, anticipating that by the time the player makes the break and their cut, the ball's going to land right in their lap. And that's something that Brock Purdy brings. And you're right. The biting your nails, that, oh my God, what were you thinking, Jimmy G? Jimmy G is a veteran making rookie mistakes.
Yes.
Brock Purdy is a rookie making veteran decisions. And this kid has been special. And it seems like to me that Kyle Shanahan finally has a quarterback to this point that understands his offense and knows how to run it the way he intended it for it to be run. And he's starting to open up the
Absolutely.
book with Brock going on the outside. He's not limited to the inside. He's not limited to 20 yards. Pretty much, he can
Right.
do what he need. And it also, if the pocket closes in, he's able to escape with the
Right.
mobility that he has enough to allow separation from one of our receivers just to get open. And he seems to find that player. These are the things that we did not see from Jimmy G. So going into this playoff on
Yeah.
Saturday, I am more confident than I ever been going into the first game against Minnesota with Jimmy G. And as we all know, those two games were won mainly on the run. It
Yep.
wasn't Jimmy G. And I got a feeling that one of these playoff games are going to be on Brock's shoulders and he's going to win
Mhm.
it. And I'm confident in that.
I agree 100%. And also, what you were saying about moving around the pocket, Jimmy stood there like a statue,
Yep.
you know? And I think also, probably to his credit, I mean, he had that ACL and he was probably so scared to get that leg messed up again. But, you know, um, if you think about it, he did end up injured with high ankle sprain, and then now his foot, I mean, things like that, and then he got a shoulder injury last season. I mean, so it's like, where and then he couldn't be traded in the off season, right? So it's like, where do you want to put your, you know where do you want to go after this? We still have Trey, we still, and that now we have Brock. I mean, that's a whole nother story, right? But with we have a solid run game. We have a solid defense who's won games for us. Um, to Jimmy's credit, he had some good games for us, when he was our starter after Trey. I think his best game was in Mexico City. But now we don't have to worry about whether or not Jimmy's going to have that good game. We already know what Brock's bringing to the table. So now we can rely on offense, defense, and a run game.
Exactly. And I wanted to ask you, Gina, um, your thoughts on, you spoke about him a little bit earlier on CMC, the addition of Christian McCaffrey from the Carolina Panthers. A lot of 49ers fans were really upset that the 49ers might have given up too much to retain his services from the Panthers. And, they were following the Rams, a pattern of F them picks, as the Rams are known to say. Um, and they gave up a second, a third, a fourth, and a fifth the following year to the Carolina Panthers for the services of one Christian McCaffrey. But to me, ever since he came to the San Francisco 49ers, this offense has evolved. This
Yeah.
offense has gotten better, exception from the game against Kansas City. He's 9-1 or 10-1 now with on this team. And I'm so excited what he brings. And this is without Elijah Mitchell for most of the year. This is without Debo Samuel for some time as well. Imagine now going into Seattle. I mean, playing Seattle at home this Saturday with everybody. You got CMC, Elijah Mitchell, Juice. You got Jordan Mason, who has stepped up at the last minute. You got everyone and their mamas ready to play this game. First, a two-part question. What are your thoughts on the addition of CMC? And the second question is, how good can this running team be in the playoffs?
Yeah, so as far as like with the fans being worried and everything, and I get all that, um, the Rams basically bought their team, and they were irrelevant for a good 10 years, and then they became relevant for they got their ring. And then they're going to be irrelevant again. So they did what they wanted to do, and kudos to them, I guess, for their one ring and probably, whatever. Um, so and I get it. I mean, in '94, I mean, we picked up Dion, Eddie DeBartolo, wanted that other one, and Steve, and all our guys pulled together. I get it. We there was we some people argue we bought that one, whatever. Hey, we fucking got it, right? But anyway, we're 5 times. That's all I gotta say.
That's
It's not
right.
like we were one timers, and we had the talent. So, but with CMC, I mean, you always got to take a gamble. We took a gamble with Trey, and we took a gamble with CMC, but we also didn't sign a 1-year deal with him. We have him for a couple of years.
Yes, we
And
do.
so, yeah. And I also firmly believe that with him being at the Panthers, I mean, look at their organization. He was not happy there. And plus, you got to take into account, the weather sucks. I mean, whatever. But you put him in a system like ours. We're very disciplined. We have a great franchise, everything like that. His attitude changed. Okay. Why is he more healthy now? Because you come to a new, it's like when you go to a new job, or let's say, even like now, like, I feel like I'm healthier now. I'm doing things that I like, I'm podcasting now. I don't know, but things change when you change where you work. He's less injury prone, he seems to be even when things are sore, his knees are sore, like he gets better, quicker. Like it's just working out for him. He wants to be on the next snap. Like he doesn't want less snaps. He wants more snaps.
Hmm.
So he's like, why am I out, coach? Like, don't put in Jordan Mason, put me in, put me in, coach. So I think it's just explosive right now. And I think he is going to do well in the playoffs. And I wouldn't be surprised if he's taken like 25 snaps, So fucking let's go.
Yeah, it's going to be fun to watch. I know a lot of people are. I mean, anything can happen on any given Sunday. Gina, we know that you can be the best prepared, the best team, and you can just lay a stinker and lose. And okay, so I understand that that's the truth of reality. But this roster understands that this is probably one of the best rosters they had under Kyle Shanahan. They understand this is probably the healthiest they've been. They're not
Yeah.
coming into this game on Saturday overlooking Seattle. They're coming in Saturday ready to demolish this team. Now, people have said it is hard to win 3 times in a row, that the odds are against the Niners. I stand that corrected because if you look at the odds, 70% of teams that have won or swept both of the teams have beaten them on the third game they played. So, an exception of last year. And now, last year against the Rams, the Niners went to the Dallas Cowboys for the wild card game, won that game, then had to travel to Lambeau Field in that freaking weather to face Aaron Rodgers in the divisional game, beat them,
Yeah.
came back and went to Levi South, our second home away from home, and only lost. Okay, at the end of the day, it is a loss. Okay, but they only lost by 3 points to the Rams. Now, the Rams on that interception that should have been made by Tart, who dropped it, a clear interception. Nobody was around him. At the very least, even if the Niners didn't move the ball or touchdown, they would have at least gotten a field goal out of it, 3 points.
Mhm.
At the very least, the Rams wouldn't have scored, okay? Because they went up scoring after that drop by Tart. A few plays later, they scored. So that's 7 points on the board for the Rams. Shouldn't have been on there. That's 3 points for us that should have been on there. That's a deficit of 10 points, and we lost by 3. So for the Ram fans to get all cocky, we beat you guys, and we beat ourselves.
Right.
The Rams were the beneficiary of this. They got to go and win the Super Bowl, and I may add, they got lucky to win this game because if they would have played the Chiefs or the Buffalo Bills last year, they wouldn't have won. They got a Cincinnati Bengals team.
Yeah.
Even with Joe Burrow, as good as he is, and Chase, they had a depleted, hurting offensive line. And I told Ram fans, it is what it is. You won. But to me, I feel that they sold their souls to the devil by giving up all those picks and
Yep.
giving all that money to Matthew Stafford and so forth, and players, and bringing back AD, paying AD. Yes, they won a Super Bowl. They have that.
Mm-hmm.
But I always say this, at what cost? Because the
Right.
reality is the Rams are going to look at McVay is considering retiring. This
Yeah.
guy, what a trooper, right? What a trooper.
Right.
What a true captain of the ship.
You're
They say
deserting
that-
your own team.
Yeah, they say that when the ship sinks, the captain should go with the ship, right? He's saying,
Right.
screw that. This ship is sinking fast. It's taking a lot of water, and my ass is out of here. They're going to be in cap hell.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any top picks in the draft because they give it all away. They have to make sure they hit on the later ones, and they can't bring no free agents because they have no money to pay these guys. They're going to be in a hot mess, and Sean McVay knows this. And I guarantee you, Sean McVay retires, AD will retire, Matthew Stafford will reconsider of maybe not coming back. And so, yes, you get that one Super Bowl, but at what price? Now, you have mentioned the 94 Super Bowl. We kind of bought our Super Bowl as well, but we also paid the price because we haven't been back since, or rephrase it, we haven't won one since.
Right.
Okay, we've been back twice, but we haven't won it, right? So to that point is sometimes when you buy a Super Bowl and you put too much, all your chips on the table, if it pays off, it's awesome, but then the rest of the years are going to be like crap. I rather have my team being competitive, always in every postseason, always challenging for the playoffs and making the playoffs and challenging for a Super Bowl run than just winning one title and one title alone. So that's me. I want to ask you, Gina, and I want to ask the viewers, would you be willing to do what the Rams did? With all honesty, put all your chips in the middle of the table, do exactly what they did, win one Super Bowl this year and never win again for a while? Or would you rather be competitive every year, even if it means we don't win one this year? I want to ask you first, Gina, and then I'll ask the viewers.
See, I can't. I'd rather be relevant.
I like that.
Yeah, I just can't. I'd rather. Yeah, I can't do that. I'd feel like a sellout.
Yep. And we're, and let's be honest, me and you were spoiled, right? We got to see the Lombardi Trophy race 5 times. So we are kind of spoiled. Me and you, we can say, I'd rather be irrelevant. And I'm with you. So am I. Yeah. But to those that haven't seen a Lombardi Trophy raised, that haven't seen the red confetti, but have seen the opposite confetti of the opposite team of the Kansas City Chiefs go down, do you think they're in the same mindset as we are, Gina? Do you think they want to be irrelevant too, or do you think they just want to, for one given moment, feel how it feels to win a Super Bowl?
That's interesting because I think of people like my son, for example. I mean, he was like, a few, like 3 or so 4 years old when we were at the for the Ravens Super Bowl, and you know what I'm saying? And he was like, I don't remember that. And I'm like, well, you were there. And then of course the 2019, he was like crying when we lost, that's tough. I think he likes being relevant, but that's tough. I'm not sure, that's a tough one. I don't know. What do you think?
And it's fair because, like I said, me and you and a lot of those that are in our era, been spoiled. We in a sense, we have
really
our cake and eat it too, right? We've seen the Joe Montanas. We see the Steve Young. hug that Lombardi Trophy, and we've seen him kiss it. After winning
Yeah.
the game against the Chargers, we've experienced this. We've experienced parades in San Francisco. I've been to all five of those parades, and I saw the excitement of the fan base, that red and gold out there cheering for Joe Montana, Roger Craig, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Tom Rathman, all those guys. And I seen when the Steve Young was out there holding the Lombardi. And that was a difficult time because we lost Joe Montana to the Kansas City Chiefs because we were ready to move on. A lot of Niner fans, you thought that this year with the whole quarterback scene, that year when we lost Joe Montana and they decided to go with Steve Young, a lot of Niner fans were upset. I think we lost a lot of them, but Steve Young brought us another ring. But we haven't seen one since, Gina. So I think there's a mix of youngsters in this era that I think a lot of them, they are in mixed emotions. I believe that a lot of them, in their hearts of hearts, they want to be competitive every year. Who doesn't? Who doesn't want to be prideful and watching your team in the playoffs every year and watching your team winning more than 8 games and just bragging rights and all that good stuff? But there has to be that part of you too, of someone young that wants to experience the confetti, wants to experience the Lombardi Trophy, wants to experience that. So I can understand how their emotions can be there. So with all that said, Gina, hopefully this season, the Niners will be able to give that to the young fan base like your son and many others that did not get to be part of or remember the Super Bowls as we do. The opportunity to experience us this year, and then every year after this, now we can be relevant. And so everybody can be on the same boat, heading the same direction.
Hell yeah.
Because it's nothing, there's nothing like watching I was at every Super Bowl. I watched every Super Bowl in person. I was there in Detroit. I was there in New Orleans. I was there in Miami. I was there in Palo Alto, that was the closest one to me.
The Miami game,
yeah, the Miami game. And that year, Dan Marino came in leading the best high power offense that year.
And we were like underdogs, basically.
Oh yeah, all you can hear was Dan Marino, and that high power offense, right? And what happened? 38 to 16, I believe it was.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So Joe Montana came through, and I know a lot of people have been comparing Brock Purdy they've been calling him Brock Montana. Okay. Listen, I love what Brock Purdy is doing. Yeah, I love what Brock Purdy is doing. Yeah. I love that he's winning. I love the potential of this kid. I think we found a rough in the gold or in the hay, however you want to say it, in this kid. But let's not disrespect Joe Montana, a 4-time Super Bowl champion, or Steve Young, a Super Bowl champion. Right. Let this kid develop. Let this kid make a name of his own. Let him make his name. So in the future, people might want to compare future quarterbacks to him. But you know what I mean? Everybody's quickly to compare. You can see similarities maybe in what Brock does than what Joe Montana did, and the way he's poised in the pocket where he doesn't let the game be too big. Those are valid, I can argue. I can have that discussion. But when they're calling him Brock Montana, okay,
it's taking it too far.
or Gina, what gets me the most too is, well, if Brock wins the Super Bowl, or if he does, what does that mean for Trey Lance? I'm like, can't we just enjoy this season?
Just get through this.
Enjoy this ride. That we're in the playoffs. We're facing our nemesis in the Seattle Seahawks. We have the opportunity to punch Pete Carroll in the mouth. Hopefully we punch him up so hard that he spits that chewing gum out of his mouth and beat him in this game, and go from there. Let the discussions of Trey Lance, Brock Purdy be discussed in the offseason. Plenty of time. I don't know why Niner fans get anxious to want to know now what it may happen, where we don't even know how far we're going to go this year. Why not enjoy this year's run and let everything sort out as it will later? I don't understand that. Do you understand how fans can be talking about Brock Purdy and do you get that, Gina? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
Oh.
The Brock Purdy versus Trey Lance situation. It's like, why bring that comparison now? At least that's my perspective. I don't know what is yours.
I mean, we talk about it on my show all the time. I have on my channel. One of my co-hosts is a Rams fan, so
Okay,
um, he
interesting.
constantly brings up the idea of like Brock Purdy needs to just be the starting quarterback next season. We're like, slow down. This isn't even about let's get through the season. Let's postseason. In fact, this was because this was starting early, and we said let's get through the season. Now we're in the playoffs. Let's get through the playoffs, and we're not looking for a savior. We're just looking for somebody to win games.
Come on now.
But like, and we still don't know what Trey can do because we only seen him play like 4 games. So, but I think fans are just, especially the ones younger than us are like, they want the quick, like right here, right now. It's that type of generation,
Yep.
like, please me now, with the,
All the
especially
drive-through. Nobody
technology.
wants to cook a nice dinner at home.
Right. So unfortunately, that's the world we live in.
Yep,
So
yep. And I'm sorry, I'm a big guy. I love using food as analogies for everything. So,
I
but
love
people,
food.
but people are like that. They want to go to the drive-through, the microwaves. They want the hot pockets. You know what I mean? And they want it quick. They want it now. And it's like, sometimes when you have a nice cooked home meal, my wife, I don't mind going out to a drive-through, but when my wife cooks dinner and it takes an hour or two to sit down at the table, I may be complaining getting there, but once I arrive and I enjoy her dinner, I'm like, man, I am so glad I waited. Good things,
So
in other
good.
words, good things come to those that wait.
Yes,
Enjoy the ride.
absolutely.
Enjoy what Brock Purdy's
Right.
doing. Enjoy what this defense is doing. Enjoy the running game. Enjoy that we're healthy. Enjoy that Kyle Shanahan is evolving as a play caller, and we're starting to have winning seasons under his regime. And enjoy that we steamrolled through the NFC West, and we're 6-0. Okay,
Yes.
and Ram fans, and your friend or your co-host can probably attest to this. At least there's a guy named Rudy, which he's from the La Romelia Sports. Great guy, big Rams fan. He's my boy, but he's much of a homer. And he's like, well, the reason why you guys beat us or swept the West is because all these teams are hurt. I'm like, you're right. You're right. That's not rock scientist. If your teams are not playing good, we should sweep the division. But it's how we did it. It's not
Yeah.
like we just barely scraped by 3 points and barely got by. We dominated
Right.
every game twice, not once, but twice this year. We're rightfully back where we deserve to be on top of the hill, Gina. This is the Niners that me and you are accustomed in the 80s and 90s. We're accustomed for winners. We're accustomed
That's right.
of having our pride and look down at the Ram fans, look down at the Cardinal fans, look down at the what's the other team that is on there? I can't even think of their name right now.
Seahawks.
Seahawks. Yeah, we're playing them. Yeah, I can't even think of their name. We're playing them on Saturday. That's how bad they are. And for those that don't remember, the original two teams that were in before in the West was the New Orleans Saints and the Atlanta Falcons. And for a few
And
years,
Cowboys.
we had the Panthers in our division.
And the
Carolina.
Cowboys, we always played them.
Yeah, that were not in our division, but we always played them, and back in that time, honestly, Gina, it wasn't who you played in the regular season. The Super Bowl wasn't the Super Bowl. The NFC Championship was the Super Bowl.
Right.
Because whoever represented the NFC was going to win Super Bowl. Not only the Niners and Cowboys, but if you look at it, I forgot, me and my friend Nathaniel were talking the other day, and we were thinking, what was the last time the AFC won a Super Bowl back and during that time? I think there was a period of, I don't know if it was 12 years, 15 years, that the NFC just dominated straight in Super Bowls with Washington, the Giants, and all those teams. And then finally, I think finally when Denver beat Green Bay, they finally stopped that bleeding. So it's been fun having you on, Gina. I know we've been in a bit longer than we normally have. The fact that we ran into the difficult technical difficulties of all my fault, nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your headset. It was my setup that I have to figure out this new mixer and how to get the mix minus working so the echo doesn't play out. So my apologies for that. Thank you for being a great host and coming on. I look forward to having you in future reference on here again.
Absolutely,
you were an excellent. You were an excellent guest. I had a blast. All my guests had a blast listening to you and taking your take. And if anything, you're 48 years young. So continue to enjoy 49er football. Let's go Saturday. Let's kick the out of the Seattle Seahawks and win that game. And let's get a game closer to getting to the Super Bowl this year. Before I let you go, if you will be kind enough to give me a game prediction, a winner and a score, if you do that.
Yes, let's go Niners. We're kicking some Seahawks butt, and we're going at least 10, if not 2 touchdowns. I gotta say, if I had to pick a score, I'm gonna say 20, 28 Niners. I don't know. Let's just go 14.
Oh wow! Okay.
I don't know.
You're being a little merciful on the Seahawks. I'm taking the Niners 38-10 in this game. I'll be surprised if even the Seahawks even score. And I understand a lot of people saying, "Man, Niner fans are being cocky. They're being too, this or that." But it's one thing about being cocky, and all this is. Listen, I understand what happened against the Raiders. We were supposed to go in Las Vegas and dominate and kick the crap out of this young quarterback, which we haven't really played, right? And the Niners, Nick Bosa admitted it. They overlooked him. This is not happening against Geno Smith. They played Geno Smith. This will be the third time. Brock Purdy second time, but the defense third time facing this guy. And we kicked his ass the first game. We kicked his ass the second game. And let's say it all together. And we're going to kick his ass on Saturday. And I said we're going to win by a double digit easily. This is me. And if that doesn't happen, I will come live on my channel and eat humble pie. But this is not just me being emotional. This is me looking at the roster of the San Francisco 49ers, being as healthy as they are, and looking at the roster of the Seattle Seahawks. And based on what, did you know, I forgot, do you know that in 8 quarters, Gina, I'll let you go with this, 8 quarters, Seattle only scored 13 points against this defense. In 8 quarters, just 13 points. In 2 games, just 13 points combined. Wow. You're going to tell me suddenly, just because this is playoff atmosphere, they're going to score 30 points on this defense?
Yeah,
I don't think so. I don't think so. And the way that we've been putting points offensively, I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. And listen, I know it's not Thanksgiving, but everybody, do me a favor. Get your virtual turkey. Go to the virtual 50-yard line and take a big old bite of that lake because I still, even though Richard Sherman came to the Niners, played for us, that day I couldn't stand when he did that on our field. I was
That's why
livid.
getting him was like,
Yeah.
like I want to hate it, but like I.
But then he
liked
started
it.
playing good, and you're like, oh, okay, maybe I can swallow my pride a little bit, at least for me. And then you know what? I'm a big fan of Richard Sherman now because I got to know him a little bit better as a Niner.
Yeah.
And the fact that he still roots for the Niners over the Seahawks right now,
yes,
it's awesome. He talks highly about the Niners.
I love him.
And so I hated him. I got to know him, and now I can tolerate him. But
love you, Bashar.
Bashar, thank you for sharing. Thank you for introducing me to this lovely lady, Gina, repping the Bay. Gina, thank you for accepting my invitation. You have a wonderful night. Don't go anywhere. For all the viewers, thank you for hanging in there with me. Again, thank you for dealing with my clumsiness and getting my equipment not properly set up and having technical difficulties. For those that stood with us, thank you so much. You guys are the MVP. And follow. Once again,
subscribe to my channel.
How can they follow you? Let that information to everybody know.
I'm at Gina Reppin' a Bay. Just put an @ sign and follow me everywhere. I'm all over social media at Gina Reppin' a Bay, and my YouTube channel is Gina Reppin' a Bay Productions. Please subscribe. You'll have fun, and I'm gonna have Niner Sickness come on my channel too because I gotta return the favor.
So I'm gonna just send you off with a little cheer, okay?
Everyone, make sure to go out and support Gina Reppin' the Bay Productions. She's doing wonderful things in the social media community. Make sure to support her and follow her. And Niners, let's go and kick the shit
out of the freaking Seahawks. Let's go. Everyone, have a wonderful night and God bless.